Welcome everyone. Today we have a special guide for Diablo 4. Now looking behind me, I want to share with you guys some of my mistakes which lost me, a lot of gold. And what I want to do in this video is, I have written some of the notes to show you guys how to reroll and also how to avoid those in-game mistakes. So you can see we have some detailed notes about rerolling and what are the biggest mistakes. And also what is my guide on rerolling. So this video will be broken down into a few parts. Firstly, I'll show you guys, notice I have about 50 million gold, and within about 5 minutes I was down to 20 million gold, and I was lucky enough to get a decent roll on my amulet. But this happened multiple times during the gameplay, so within like half hour of the gameplay I lost over 100 million gold overall just from rerolling, and this is a very evil design I need to warn you guys and teach you guys about. We also have some really good notes over here to help you calculate how much it will cost you to reroll for certain items and also to reroll for certain stats. So notice here we have certain stats we're looking for, and here it will help you to estimate the cost of rerolling on certain items. I'll give you guys a quick example. If I'm looking for pens, I have 4 affixes, I'm looking for 1 affix, and the current cost of rerolling is 1 million gold. This will tell me it will take me at least 6 million gold to get what I wanted. This is very important for you to understand because those calculations will be different on different pieces of gears. It is extremely more expensive to be rerolling on your amulet, which we'll talk about in this video. Now coming over to the first part of the video, you might be wondering, Matt, what do you mean by you wasted 100 million gold? Well, the first thing is with rerolling, the cost of the rerolling goes up. You will be consuming your Veil crystals and also Forgotten Souls that you get from the Helltide. The biggest thing is, at the start of rerolling, it costs less than 100,000 gold. But let's have a look what happens when I keep rerolling. I'm sure you guys know. So here, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Notice that this is close to 1 million gold now. Each time I click, this goes up. And now I'm trying a different piece of gear. I think at the end of that gear, yes, I was going over 2 million gold per click. And this is insane. So within the span of less than 3 minutes, I wasted 15 million gold on this amulet. And it's not even that good. And here again, I spent another 10 million gold rerolling on the second amulet. I was very fortunate to have gotten the +2 rank to defensive spells. But during this one instance, I lost about 30 million gold. And this happened multiple times during my gameplay. So overall, I have wasted over 100 million gold rerolling and not knowing what I was doing. Now you might be wondering, hey man, how did you get so much gold? Yes, I'll quickly show you guys. Notice here I'm selling 1 amulet for 35 million gold. I'll show you guys the stats of this amulet, and this is my replay, right? So the stats of this amulet is not the craziest amulet. It has the top row of fury cost reduction. It has +2 to brawling, +2 to defensive spells, and also 12.5% to the Belgian weapon. So this is not the topest row, but notice it has one of the maximals to fury reduction. And even this amulet was selling for 35 million gold on the Discord. So this is what I recommend, guys. Go back to our previous trading videos. If you use my method, you can be selling some items for a lot of gold. And yes, even though I sold for a lot of gold, I also wasted a lot of gold. That's why I want to teach you guys how to be rerolling at the OCCULTIST. Now coming over to our notes, let's briefly talk about rerolling, because I have had friends that lost over 500 million gold in 1 hour. How did they get 500 million gold? Well, if you see the previous video, some of those weapons sells for hundreds and millions of gold on the market. And for me, I've lost over 10 or 20 million gold after clicking multiple times. And I realized I was just getting 1 to 2% more bonus stats because of what I was trying to do. I was trying to make a max and I was way too greedy. I didn't know my probabilities, because you need to know your probabilities. I need to know how much it costs you. So we'll talk about that very soon. So rerolling is quite straightforward. It will cost you Veil crystals, Forgotten Souls, which only come from Helltide, and also it costs increasingly amount of gold as you click on it. You saw in the video, 60,000 gold goes to 60,000 gold, and then goes to 1 million gold, then 3 million gold. Very quickly, the rerolling cost racks up. And yes, it is insane, guys. Notice at the end of the video, within like 5 minutes of the rerolling cost, I was down to 19 million gold. I started with 50 million gold. Now this is not just one instance, this happened multiple instances, and that's how I lost over 100 million gold. And one thing I do want to note, so you saw in the video, what you want to do is, if you're rerolling for a certain skill on your armor, or maybe skill rank on your amulet, you must make sure you get +3 or +2 at the original start. And this will allow you to upgrade this one to +4 or +3. So here I'll show you guys one of the mistakes I made. Notice I was spinning over 20 million gold on this really crappy amulet. And what happened is, this really crappy amulet in it, I never used it because it only had +1 skill rank. So over here, the first part you need to understand, the most important part, is the pool of available AFFIX that you can reroll on different pieces is actually very different. So we're going to refer to the previous guide Halfmind made for us during the beta. Now do keep in mind guys, this is a little out of date. So what that means is the probability you see over here, you are getting much less probability. Because there's so many more AFFIX that is added to different parts of the gear. Especially for the amulet, you're getting so many passive rolls that you don't need. And you might see 7.69 here, but in reality, you're looking at about 5 or less than 5% of getting what you wanted. And that might not even be a top roll. So let me show you guys some of the examples. You can see those are the list of available AFFIXs for the boots. Starts with 5 and finish at 19. So if you're rerolling on the boots, you can get something you want very quickly. But similarly, you can see there's a lot more things you can roll on the pants. And vice versa, there's a lot more things you can be rolling on the chest compared to the helmet. So this makes the helmet a little easier to be rerolling. And you can see the gloves, there's less things on the gloves, which makes rerolling into what you want, like critical chance, attack speed, a little bit easier. Now one of the biggest rerolling trap in the game is going to be amulet. So having a look at availability of the amulets over here for the AFFIX out of the amulet. So for the rings, it's quite a lot. Even if you're rolling for critical chance on the rings, you're looking at so many AFFIXs. But for the amulet, this goes even crazy. It's down to 44 availabilities, but this can go even higher because we wasn't considering the passives, the things that comes with amulet. So it is actually really crazy guys if you're rerolling on amulets and the rates are extremely low. Now let me briefly show you how to use this calculator. We have had a guide video over here, you can have a look at this one if you haven't seen it. Previously, I thought it would save you 10 million gold. Now this one will save you over 100 million gold for sure. So if you come over to my game, I have prepared a list of items I want to use to you guys as an example. So one of the items over here is this one. Notice this one has some pretty top stats. 7% armor, 16.5% maximum fury cost reduction, 10% cooldown reduction. This is a top roll amulet. And I have been trying to roll onto defensive skills onto this one. Let's have a look how much it's costing me to reroll this item now. It will cost me 4 million gold to reroll this item once. And this is crazy guys. Because you might think, hey, you got 4 million gold, why don't you give it a try, right? So let's say if I have 4 of the AFFIXs. So let me show you how to use this one briefly. And I'm looking for one. I'm only looking for defensive skills. And here they will cost me 4 million gold. So if I type in the 4 million gold in, like manually, so you can see, it might seem like it will only cost me 4 million gold. By the estimation, by the old probabilities, that's not even the updated probabilities, it will cost me over 15 million gold to even try to get this one. So that means I have to click like 10 plus times to even get lucky. And I'm not going to click it. This is a big trap. This is a perfect amulet, but unfortunately guys, I cannot make use of this amulet. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4. So now if we come over to the second part of my notes, I want to share you guys with some rerolling tips. So the first thing is, you want to be setting a budget when you start a reroll. And you want to tell yourself, hey, if I kind of know the value of my items, because I know the values as I look into the Discord for people selling items here. You can see people selling items, there's 5 million, 10 million different items, right? You can see certain items sell for 17 million gold. So if I kind of know the value of my items, I do not want to reroll exceedingly over the value, because I can just buy a new one for 2 million gold. Why would I spend 5 million gold rerolling on this item when it costs only 2 million gold to buy, right? This will probably sell for 5 million gold, to be honest. So here's example over here. I was trying to reroll a 5 million gold worth of gloves for 5% critical chance. But it was costing me so much to reroll, eventually I gave up on it, because I can buy one with a 5% critical rate for a similar price. So the next tips I have for you guys is know the type of gear you're rerolling on. So coming over to the calculator half mind made, and I also help to make the probabilities and also the calculations over here. If you're rerolling on easier pieces like boots, maybe the chest, and having a look at AFFIX over here, you can see some of those things are very easy to reroll, like the gloves, and over here, like the boots, they are considerably easier with less AFFIXs. But some parts of the gear, it is going to be much more expensive. So if you're rerolling on amulets, guys, expect to spend a lot of gold and expect to not get it, because this is incredibly sharp for the gold cost and also a gold sink. Now, because we're still playing the game a lot and we didn't have time to update Excel, once Excel is updated, I'll let you guys know. Now, the biggest part with rerolling is know when to stop. For me, I know it's time to stop with this amulet after it's costing over 4 million gold to click. Now in the future, maybe if I have hundreds of millions of gold, this can be a perfect amulet. But right now, it's out of my reach. So it's very important, guys, to know when to stop. So I'm teaching a gambling hotline here, but this is very similar to gambling. Very crazy. Now one of the biggest highlights is don't be greedy and not try to get a maximum roll on certain part of your gears. So for example over here, notice that my weapon, it is not max roll. It is one of the minimum rolls on 50 vulnerability instead of 70 vulnerability. I was being greedy, I spent 9 million gold rerolling, try to get it maximum, and it failed. So similarly for the hammer over here, it only has 55% critical chance. It could have been 63%. But again, guys, don't be too greedy. If you keep trying to be greedy for the minimum maximum rolls, it will cost you way more gold. So the consideration is, it will cost you at least 20 more million or 30 more million gold if you just use the calculator over here. So the weapon was costing me over 2 million gold. And I know to get a maximum stat, just a slight boost, it will cost me over 15 million gold. And that is not worth it for the 5% more critical damage, right? So to get that tiny bit of stats, it is not worth it. Now, one of the best ways to be rerolling and also crafting your items is, of course, to know what stats you wanted. I'm sure you guys know the stats you wanted. The second thing is also prepare multiple items to be rerolling, so you don't, lose out on the higher cost as you reroll more. We're benefiting on the cheaper cost. So here I have an example for you guys. I'll be doing a live rerolling to show you guys some of the items I have and what are the rolls I want to go for. And I'll briefly go through to you guys. Let's say this one costs 700,000. This one costs, 15,000 or 150,000. This one costs 70,000. There's a lot of ways you can benefit from rerolling if you have lots of gears prepared. So the logic is, it costs me about 1 to 2 million gold or 5 million gold to acquire those items. And I can save more gold by using a cheaper reroll compared to rerolling for one item over 20 million gold. And I'll show you guys this live very soon. Now finally, before I finish my notes, if you guys haven't heard of this, the gambler's fallacy is when we play a game or when we go to casinos to gamble, you think you're luckier than most people. And that's what we all think as humans. This is a good thing sometimes, but sometimes it's not a good thing. With OCCULTIST, everyone's gonna lose out eventually. So be extra careful. This is like the casino. You're there to gamble, right? This is such an evil design, right? So coming over to a live example over here. What I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to roll on 3 of my two-handed sword and also 4 of my one-handed weapon. As a summary, what I'm doing is, I'm setting a budget for about 1 to 2 million gold to be rerolling on each of the pieces. And after that, if I have spare gold, I'll also be rerolling on my pens. I want to get more damage. I want to be getting more damage reduction. I know each of those pens are worth about 3 million gold, and I do not want to reroll over 2 million gold on each of those. And finally, I have some really nice gears, but I don't want to be rerolling because I want to teach you guys the opportunity cost of items. So for this amulet, if I didn't reroll on this amulet, I could have sold this amulet easily for 50 million gold. Because what I want to show you guys is a similar amulet that I sold earlier. This amulet was a much lower roll. I was selling this one for 35 million gold. And just to show you, the transaction actually went through. So yes, I did sell this item for 35 million gold. And that is how I got enough gold to start my rerolling spree. It's over 50 million gold, right? So here, with this amulet, if I did not reroll on this amulet, I could have easily sold this one for 15 or even 100 million gold. And this would have been crazy. So just even attempting rolling on this amulet, I wasted 20 million gold. And on top of that, I also lost on the gold I could have sold this amulet on. So for items like this one, I can easily sell this one for 20 million gold. And for those rings, I'm expecting to sell those rings for at least 15, 20 or 30 million gold. So this is why I'm not rerolling in this video, and I plan to sell those items for more gold. Okay guys, now let's come over to the exciting part. Let's do the live rerolling. So here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get core spells on my two-handed weapon to try the different setup. Here I'm using the close damage, right? So here is 80,000. Let's give it a try. Oh, I got strength, not bad. Let's go. Oh, this is actually pretty high. So notice I'm not going to go on for this for now. I'm going to go on to this because I'm making advantage of the cheaper rerolling cost. I'm going to stay with on the all stats. And here this is much cheaper, right? So let's take away the close. Let's see if we get caught. We don't get caught. So 3 tries, nothing. And do you believe this one is a spare one? So this is the fallen back weapon. If I don't get anything good, I fall back on this weapon. Because this weapon has decent rolls. This weapon has the stats I wanted. And well, now the downside for this weapon is that yes, even though it has the stats I wanted, I still want vulnerability, right? Let's see if I get vulnerability. I do not. So this is the interesting part. Notice the first round, I didn't get anything. So I'm going to try the second round of those weapons. If I don't get anything, I'll be in trouble. And then I'm going to stop. So notice this method of rerolling should technically help us to become more wise in terms of spending. But of course, you'll need more weapons. So usually I save up a few weapons and before I start doing this. This is actually looking pretty bad, to be honest. I did not hope to be this unlucky. Okay, we're going to stop right here. So I'm going to keep those as it is. I'm going to look into my one-handed weapon and see if I can get anything better on the one-handed weapon. So similarly, I'm looking for core skill damage on the one-handed weapon. Now do keep in mind guys, it will cost you double amount of gold if you're rerolling on legendaries because it's just much more expensive. I did not get my core. Ooh, this is annoying. So the next row is 800,000 gold. This one is 700,000 gold. Not worth it. So let's go with a cheaper one. And this one has core, so I'm looking for vulnerability. Oof, rerolling is such a pain, right? So I can still do these ones. Nope, no luck. So eventually I have to give up on those weapons because it will cost me more to reroll. Now finally, what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for additional damage reduction. Now notice the first few rolls are very cheap. I'm making use of this one. And if I don't get it, we're not going to use those too much. So the next one is going to, let's see if I can get Berserk. Nope. I'm looking for more damage reduction for my pens. I know guys, it's pretty crazy, right? Ugh, I don't want dodge chance, but it's better than healing, right? The downside is, once you start rerolling, you can't sell those items. So I'm keeping those items for me for a while. Oh gosh, we're very unlucky, aren't we? Okay, last round of rolls. So 500,000, ugh. Not good, not good. So this is why I want to show you guys. I purposely did not have much gold on me. And this is a good thing because I can't go crazy, right? Ah, not good, not good. Can we just get one right stat? Nope, not today. So all stats close. I'm really looking for vulnerability to be honest. But I guess I can settle for close. So let's see, let's see. So here, can we get something? Nope, not today. So even though the method is quite... Oh, by the way, yes, if you roll it on the legendaries, you also need field rolls. I got higher strength. That's not what I want to master. And over here, let's see what I can get. Ah, no luck. Okay, let's try once more. I'm not going to roll on this weapon. This is the wrong one. So you don't want to be rolling on the wrong weapons. I just want to make one right one. But my budget is running low though. Those are really nice rolls, but I really want to try core skills. But if I really can't, maybe I stop here. So this is what I want to show you guys. Even though I prepared so many items to try to get one stat, and after close to 7 million gold, I couldn't get one. But I'm going to stop here. Because I want to save some spare gold to be buying items, I want to save some spare gold to be upgrading items, and I don't want to overspend into rerolling. So hopefully this video helps you. And remember guys, if you don't get what you wanted, make sure you stop. Because if you keep going, the cost will go even higher. Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too. And she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.